We keep on moving, we keep on moving along, we keep on rolling. No, we ain't slowing it down. We ain't slowing down. We keep on moving along, we keep on rolling. Yeah. No, we ain't slowing it down. Let's go.
We ain't slowing down, baby, come and show me how. Gotta do it right now, you know you gotta hold me down. Can I let the moment pass? Good things, they never last. Pull up in a whip, you know I had to hit the gas. Yeah, that's premium, pull up with a team and I'm ain't worried about the other side. They know that they ain't beating, I'm on everything I love. Word to the man above, keep it cool, calm, collected. At this point you get the message. Life is hectic, but we gotta keep it rolling, no. Gotta keep it moving like we stole it, though. Rolling with the punches, giving hits like we are Interscope. Even though I'm clocking, punching in, I'm independent, though. Staying prayed up, ain't nothing gon' phase us. Ain't never gon' let a lame say what they just made up. I never take a pay cut, we getting what we worth in. I never change the blueprint, cause we know it's really working.
Keep on moving,
Moving,
we keep on moving along.
keep it moving, keep it
rolling.
rolling.
No, we ain't slowing it down.
Never slowing down,
Keep
never
on moving,
moving.
we keep on moving along.
Keep it moving, keep
on
it
rolling.
rolling.
No, we ain't
Keep it rolling, keep
slowing
it moving,
it
we ain't
down.
never gon' lose it. Cause we in it for the movement. If I'm lying, then I'm flying. Don't play into their amusement. If we trying, we ain't dying. Never sleep, never sleep, never. The moment that you rest your head, they think they can compete. If you gotta skip steps, then the plan is not complete. Get your reps in, get your reps in, get your. Never rest on a past success. You gotta love what you do if you tryna be the best.
Keep on moving,
Moving,
we keep on moving along.
keep it moving, keep it rolling.
We ain't slowing it down.
Never slowing down, never
Moving,
moving.
we keep on moving
Keep it
along.
moving, keep it moving, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling, keep it moving. We ain't never gonna lose it.
Who's been to Epstein Island, mate? Yay! It's Monday. How we doing? Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever and whatever you're doing in the world. I hope you are well. And I hope you had a good weekend. Like I say, I had a really good weekend. Been very busy weekend, earning a few quid. We love that. We love that. Oh yes. And you really need to pull your finger out to earn some money these days. I know that much. Anyway, who's here? Too Shy's here, everybody. Good to see you, Too Shy. And the wonderful, beautiful, marvellous, even. Biff. Beth Gish is here, everyone. I will get there. I'm breaking these teeth in for Mr. John. Anyway, so where are we in the world? Oh my God! I said, didn't I, on Thursday? No doubt something would just happen. It just does every single day now. And so what's happened now? Well, this is what's happened. Burnham vows support for Ukraine despite outrageous threats from Russia. Oh, there's so many questions in all this. I had to make a list. I literally made a list of questions, right, with this. We're going to get into it. It's blowing my mind, all this stuff. Anyway, we'll get into this, and then we'll go through my list. And I'll be interested to see what you think about all this. Because I know, it's bad. For me, I think so. Anyway, Andy Burnham has promised to keep the pressure on Russia. Andy Burnham is going to keep this bloke.
Imagine no more.
Imagine Andy Burnham keeping the pressure on Russia. Just imagine it. Right, anyway. Keep the pressure on Russia despite Moscow's outrageous threats on his first official visit to the Ukraine as UK Prime Minister. Now, if we all remember rightly, when he blagged his way, in my opinion, into number 10, the system wanted him there for whatever reason. One change, you know what I mean? Starmer must have been slipping, weren't getting the public behind him, getting really, not liked at all. Shuffle the deck and put the new Joker to the top of the pack, in my opinion, right? it's he had his first when he went anywhere when he got the job as Prime Minister. He went to the Ukraine, didn't he? And now he's back. He's back. Burnham met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and chaired his first meeting of the Coalition of the Willing, set up by the UK and France under his predecessor, Keir Starmer. Now, I want to show you something just briefly now. We need to have a quick look at Zelensky. I just want to do a recap, just a quick recap, right? So let's have a quick recap of Zelensky, shall we? Yeah, well, there you go. There is the president. Is he the president of Ukraine? Zelensky. So I just wanted to put it in context of where we're going with all of this stuff, right? Because that's the guy. I mean, he's why we're donating all this money. You know, he's the main reason, isn't he? You know, for all the money and everything that's getting donated to them. So we'll continue with the article. He said the coalition was doing everything we can while urging the US Congress to ratchet up economic pressure on Russia. The government is set to hand over blueprints for British-made components for the SCALP missile, a French version of the UK Storm Shadow cruise missile, allowing Ukraine to produce the weapon domestically. During the meeting with France and Ukraine, Burnham also urged allies to do everything we can and dig into our own stocks of air defence to protect Ukraine. Alright, okay. This is the moment to keep up the pressure on Russia. The moment to squeeze their ability to fund this illegal war, Burnham said, praising the strength of the Ukrainian people. Ukraine has been Europe's protector, not a drain on our security, but the front line in keeping Europe safe. Really? Really? Yeah, really, apparently. It comes after Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov criticised the UK's decision to share the missile blueprints. Peskov said it prevented even the slightest progress towards achieving peace. He told reporters on Monday that the Russian military was already gathering data to locate any missile production sites to destroy them. Britain is involved in this war on the side of the Kiev regime. Britain methodically and regularly adds fuel to the fire, he added. In response, Burnham said, who started the fire? That's the question, isn't it? Was it... Oh, just too many. Burnham, they think we're going to go to war with Russia. Oh my God. They want us to go to war with Russia, obviously. He added the issue of missile interceptors would be the main topic at the Coalition of the Willing meeting. Burnham has been reaffirming the UK's backing, not the UK, it's not me. I don't think it's you. Do you back it? Do you back us to aiding Ukraine to fight their war with Russia? Do you think we should be setting ourselves up to go to war with Russia? With Russia, think about it. Burnham has been reaffirming the UK's backing for Kiev in the wake of escalating Russian strikes on Ukraine in recent weeks, including one of a shopping centre on Friday that killed at least 16 people. I saw a thing about that. Now, I don't know for definite, but one of the things I was watching earlier are these experts. You know, you get these real... Now, men, they are experts. I'm no expert. I'm just a spectator in all this. These experts were talking, and one of them is like American, and he was, you know, he's high up. He was high up in all this sort of thing, knows loads of stuff. And apparently, yeah, the Russians hit a shopping centre. Well, allegedly, what was happening was the Ukrainians were driving out these lorries, and in these lorries they had missiles, and they were firing the missiles or the drones or whatever it was into Russia, hitting Russian stuff, right? So then these lorries were going back into a shopping centre to hide, basically, allegedly, right? And that's why Russia struck the shopping centre, because it was hitting the lorries, because they were a target. And then when the responders went to this shopping centre, they allegedly, right, from what I've seen, apparently, allegedly, took photos, and then they posted these photos out online. And analysts looked at them, and there were lorries that had these missiles in them that were destroyed. And you could see it, apparently. So that is why they were attacking this shopping centre, because there was armaments in there. So that's what they're going to do. Gun is here, everybody. Good to see you, Gun. And Defied Tyrants is here, everyone. Good to see you, Defied Tyrants. Good to see you, mate. I hope you both had a good weekend. On Monday morning, the Prime Minister laid flowers at the graves of Ukrainian soldiers during a service at the National Military Memorial Cemetery. He also accepted an award from Zelensky on behalf of the British people, recognising the UK's support for Ukraine during an Independence Day event outside St Sophia Cathedral in Kiev. It's all theatre, isn't it? It's just all theatre. Ahead of his visit, Burnham said, Ukraine's 35th anniversary of independence. The Ukrainian people should be in no doubt. The UK is behind you today and for as long as it takes. Again, they're not speaking for me. If Russia, they're not, Burnham and this government and all the other politicians, they're not speaking from my point of view. Not in the slightest. I am proud of the contribution our country has made to Ukraine, and I want the Ukrainian people to hear it directly from me that our support will not waver. After all, Ukraine's security is our security. Mate, you can't even secure our borders from illegal immigrants on little dinghies. So don't start telling us about security. We're just not buying it. We're not buying it. The people just aren't buying that crap anymore. He said the friendship Ukraine shared with the UK would long outlast Russia's illegal war, adding, Russia should be in no doubt of our resolve. We will not back down until there is a just and lasting peace. Well, if the Ukrainians surrender, there will be. That's all that needs to happen, in my opinion. It comes after Moscow warned of consequences over the use of British drones by Ukraine in its recent ramping up of strikes on Russian infrastructure. Kiev has stepped up long-range attacks on Moscow and other Russian regions, targeting oil refineries and warehouses of the country's largest on-round, we all know this, Wheelberries. The government is allowing UK defence company, this is the critical bit, This is the stuff that I'm concerned about, right? So, my first question. What exactly is Britain giving Ukraine? Are we simply allowing production of certain British-made components, or are we genuinely giving them sensitive, classified technical blueprint, or are they being transferred? Sensitive and classified technical blueprints. Well, I'd say they were sensitive and technical, and I thought we were supposed to keep those things like top secret for our defence. You know, our defence, not give them away, but this is what's happening. So, the government is allowing UK defence company MBDA to declassify information on UK components for the SCALP missile. Now, my next question was, who actually authorised this? Was this the prime ministerial decision, a cabinet decision, a Ministry of Defence decision, and who ultimately takes responsibility for this? Right, I'm going to go on because this could drag us right into a war with Russia. There's no doubt about it. It could absolutely drag us into a war with Russia, without question, right? The long-range missile weighs 1,300 kilos and is 16.7 foot long. It is capable of hitting targets around 150 miles into Russia. Not as far as the UK's deep strike drone capability, but it is a significant step in showing the willingness of international partners to share weapons technology. So we're sharing the weapons technology now. The maker describes them as designed to hit pre-planned stationary targets. It can be used day and night in all weather and as advanced navigation systems. MBDA adds that it is in service with the Royal Air Force, the French Air Force, Italian Air Force, and has been used in Iraq, Syria and Libya. Ukraine hopes it can also be given more Patriot interceptor missiles. So we're giving them loads of stuff, right? This makes us complicit. This makes the United Kingdom, not us, the people. Nobody's asked the people about this. And then I've got my other question. Is it illegal to hand classified British military technology to another country? Is that illegal? What laws and export controls apply, and what process allows classified information to be released? Where was the conversation about this? This is quite a serious situation. And we've got a guy who's now the Prime Minister, who basically was elected on 25,000 votes in a by-election in Makerfield, and then he's the Prime Minister, and now is in the Ukraine, and they're ramping it up with Russia. Is anybody going to ask us? Is anybody going to go? Are they going to go back to Parliament and ask Parliament if we should be giving this technical data away? Should we be doing that? Number 4, was Parliament consulted or given a vote? I don't think they were. I've never heard anything about this. If MPs weren't required to approve it, should they have been for something this significant? Well, I would have said they should have been. At the very least, Parliament should have been recalled for this, and or put together. So that there could have been a discussion at least on the ramifications of this. Does Andy Burnham have a democratic mandate for a decision this big? I'd say no. It says he can legally become MP without a general election, but is legal authority the same thing as democratic legitimacy? You tell me. Should he have the power at this point? When we look at the situation that's got him to be Prime Minister, should he be able to do this? I mean, he can do it, obviously, but is it just? Shouldn't he at least go back to the people, especially as he's new, and say, look, this is what we're intending on doing. Do you lot agree with this? But they won't, because they're just running rampant now. They're just gone. It's out of control, in my opinion. And number 6, when should the British people get a say? When do we get a say in what's happening and where the money's all being spent, and if we should be handing over all this technical information, which is secret and classified, or was? We can't have a referendum on every government decision, but surely there must be a point where national security consequences become significant enough to require greater democratic consent. Where's the line? Where is the line that we have to be asked? Can they just take us to war at this point without us being asked? Because this is literally what's happening. We're being dragged into this now properly. I mean, we have been for some time. But they're just ramping it up now with Russia. I mean, the Russians can see what's going on. So it's really critical how they respond to this. Right, this one, number 7. Is this still supporting Ukraine, or are we moving into something different? Supplying weapons is one thing. Helping another country manufacture a long-range British-French designed cruise missile raises a different question about Britain's level of involvement. So, where would you say we are in this? Would you say we're on the sidelines, or would you say we're actively, basically at war with Russia through the Ukraine? I mean, that's how it seems to me. It's really worrying. Number 8, how will Russia interpret this? Regardless of how Britain describes the policy, could Moscow regard transferring missile production technology as another escalation, and what might its response be? Well, they've already said they have seen it as that. They've said it's like putting petrol on the fire. This is not going to end well. This is not going to end very well at all. All right, number 9. Who bears the consequences if this goes wrong? Politicians make the decision, but ordinary British people potentially face the consequences of escalation. Economical, through cyber attacks, national security threats, or ultimately military confrontation. Number 10, the big question. Just because the government can do it, does that mean it should be able to do it without asking? That's the question I want to know. This brings the entire thing together. How much power should any Prime Minister have to make major decisions involving war, weapons and national security without explicit approval from Parliament or the electorate? Who gave him the right to do this? Who's given him the right to do this? We'll carry on with this. We won't carry on with this article actually, because there is another one. There's another couple of them that I want to have a look at, because this is the latest one. UK missiles offer may help Ukraine, but they are not what Zelensky needs most. Right, so this is another BBC article. The UK is set to hand over blueprints for its British-French designed Storm Shadow cruise missiles to Ukraine, following a similar move from France, allowing Ukraine to produce the weapon domestically. Now, Russia's just going to destroy wherever they're going to be manufactured, for one. But it's not that. It's the optics of this is terrible for us. The move sends an important signal showing that some Western nations are willing to share their expertise and know-how to help Ukraine defend itself. But on its own, this won't dramatically alter the course of the war. SCALP and Storm Shadow missiles have already been provided to Kiev by both Britain and France. They've already been used to hit military targets inside Russia. The weapons are not new. They were developed in the 1990s, and they are expensive at around £1 million a piece. See, this is the other thing, right? We're giving them these. We've been giving them these things. This country's in a mess. This country's economically in a mess. It's in a mess in so many ways, and it's all due to the governments that we've had. It's all down to them. Nobody else can be put to blame with any of this. When the Russians, see, I don't know what you know about the 2014 with the Ukraine and what went on with the coup, and that was backed apparently, allegedly, by the CIA, right? Americano, probably Mossad as well, because we know, who's behind all these things. So when that all started, the coup started, right? That was the takeover. And Zelensky said he didn't want war or anything like that. He was going to sort it out. Just like Trump now, when Trump was saying before he got in on the second one, that he didn't want the wars. It was silly to have a war, blah, blah, blah. Fuel will be less than $2. And I think in America now it's over $5 a gallon. You know what I mean? All the stuff, all of it. They've all gone back on what they said. And there's never accountability for this stuff. Once these people have got power, it's just... Who's been to the Epstein Island, mate?
Everyone!
Yeah, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? It makes you wonder what's really behind all this and who's really behind all this. But the fact that we can spend $1 million a missile, rather than trying to sort out some of the problems we've got here now for the people, which is supposed to be the government's first priority, is to protect the people. None of this seems to me like it's protecting us in the slightest. None of it. The illegals that are coming here and being housed, fed, paid for, all of that doesn't seem... Every other day now, if not every day, we're seeing somebody is graping some kid somewhere in this country, right? It's off the scale now. The stuff that's going on is getting ridiculous now. And the thing is, it's not going to slow down. None of it's going to slow down. So, you know, where do you draw? There's so many things going wrong. But like I say, they can spend $1 million. How many missiles have they given them? How many millions? And so, if I don't think Russia, personally, I don't think Russia will attack a NATO country. Because if they attack a NATO country, which is like us, Germany, France, then it brings the Yanks in, then it brings them all together, potentially. Not all of them will get involved, but enough of them will. So they won't. But what I do think Russia will do is I think they'll just destroy Kiev. They'll just, at some point, they're just going to go enough's enough, and then they will just, or maybe they're just playing a nice chess game where they're just taking it piece by piece, and they've got time. They think they've got time to do it. I don't know. I mean, I just hope we don't get dragged into it. I mean, we are in it, but I just hope the Russians hold off of us, because it's us that we're just normal people. We've not asked for none of this. Loads of us at the beginning of all this said, no, look, the British government should try and get Ukraine and Russia to sit down at a table and get a peace agreement and sort it out. But we didn't, did we? No, because our politicians just went over there with like the likes of Boris Johnson and was like, no, just do it, go have them. Have Russia, come on. We're behind you, we're all behind you, we'll do it. They just dragged us in. When I speak to most everyone, nobody wants it. Nobody wants us dragged into a war. They also rely on complex global supply chains and have been built in peacetime in relatively low rates. In the hundreds, not the thousands. Even with the blueprints, see, they're talking it down. The BBC are talking it down. Even with the blueprints, Ukraine may find it hard to source components. It could take months, previously years, possibly years, to make the cruise missile themselves. Copying Western weapons production in peacetime is, in fact, no way to win a war. Even NATO nations now realise that. Britain and many of its allies have tended to produce small quantities of highly advanced, expensive missiles which would quickly run out in any protracted conflict. This is interesting. This bit's very interesting. Who's that is? Racing Rooster is here, everybody. Good to see you, Racing Rooster. And he says, yes, strange, nobody mentioning peace talks, ain't it, Gaz? Yeah, they never did. They never did. And that's exactly where the UK should have been with all of this. We should have been the what's it called? The arbiter. Is it called the arbiter of peace? We should have brought them to the table and helped them calm it all down and work out their differences and find out what the real issues are. But that weren't done. Not in the slightest. Not in the slightest was that done. Because they want to destroy Russia. Whoever the greater powers that be, in my opinion, absolutely want to bring down Russia. Just like they want to bring down Europe. And they are bringing down Europe. We are being flooded. We are being destroyed slowly but surely. Absolutely. Everybody can see it. The mad lefties can't, obviously. You know, but who knows if that's all just that and their heads are gone. I don't know. I don't know why they did all that, but they definitely did it. Defied Tyrant says, the dollar is going to collapse soon. The US thinks another world war will stop the collapse, but it will not help this time. We will see. Yeah, they like wars, don't they? It does a lot of things from war. Because notice as well, Whenever there is a massive war, they don't fight. The powers that be don't fight. Normal people fight. Not them. They don't send their families. They don't go themselves. The politicians don't go to war, do they? They should be the first ones that we send, in my opinion. Absolutely. You want the war? You fucking lead the way. See, once upon a time, if history is correct, which I don't know because I weren't there, when we had like a king, then there was a war, the king would lead the charge. In many cases, back in I don't know, was it the 1300s, the 1200s, the 1400s? The actual leaders would be the leaders because they led. And they led the charge. They were in the battles. But not anymore. Bob Jones is here, everybody. Good to see you, Bob. They want war so they can cancel elections and stay in power. I don't even know if it's that. I just think there is the hidden hand behind all the so-called power in the world. I believe it's like the Wizard of Oz. Behind the curtain, there are the little men or the little women or the little demons or whatever it is, the little entities that are controlling everything. For all we know, and this might sound outrageously crazy, but for all we know, AI is running it all. How would we know if AI isn't actually at this point running everything and has been for some time? We know that AI can make its own money. We know that AI can employ people and act as an employer. We know that people will do whatever they're told if they're paid enough money. How do we know behind the curtain isn't just the machine? How do we know? We don't know. Will we ever know? I doubt it. Defy Tyrant says Trump has already hinted to having some kind of emergency to stop midterms. Oh, well, because that'll be interesting to see if that happens in Americano land, won't it? Anyway, back to this, yeah. In 2021, the former head of the US Army in Europe, General Bob Hodges, said that in a NATO war game, the UK military ran out of key weapons within a matter of days. And you've got the likes of Andy Burnham saying that we're not bothered about Russia. We're not, we're putting he's going to put pressure on Russia. When literally specialists have said we would NATO war game, the UK military ran out of key weapons within a matter of days. And how many people do you think are going to fight for this country as the state it's in? How many people do you think are going to get up and leave their family and their friends when there's so many people here that shouldn't be, or are here that they don't want to be here anyway, that will be left behind, so that the country's left wide open for them? How many people do you think is going to want to do that? Nobody. Nobody's going to want to fight. Nobody's going to want to go. Not anyone. I would have said in the past, if this country was invaded, the people would fight. This country, in my opinion, is sort of being invaded by illegal people on boats. And even, you could argue, legal migration, because, again, the government, they're just not slowing nothing down. And the infrastructure can't take it. It's bad all round, if you ask me. Proof of the recent change in mindset is the UK military is no longer buying Storm Shadow missiles for itself. Instead, under Project Breakstop, it is developing its own long-range cruise missiles free of foreign components and less than half the price of a Storm Shadow. Project Breakstop is also being done at breakneck speed. The UK hopes to have a new cruise missile ready by the end of the year. It is promising to supply the new weapon to Ukraine. So we're making a new weapon at breakneck speed with whatever that costs to give to the Ukrainians to fight the Russians. So what's one way of stopping that from happening from the Russian point of view? It ain't rocket science, is it? It really isn't rocket science. It is Ukraine which has shown the world how to produce relatively cheap, mass-produced weapons necessary for long protracted conflict. Douglas Barry, Senior Fellow for Ministry Aerospace at the International Institute for Strategic Studies, told the BBC the decision to share the UK classified information on the MBDA SCALP missiles with Ukraine as France and Ukraine work toward local assembly lines in Ukraine is notable. Any impact, however, will part depend on how quickly Ukraine assembled SCALP cruise missiles can be introduced into service. Given that Ukraine has already operated both Storm Shadow and SCALP, familiarity with the missile may help speed the overall process. But this will also be dependent on the extent and pace at which the local assembly can be established. At the start of the war, its armed forces relied on Cold War-era Soviet weaponry. A slow supply of Western weapons helped it adapt, but now Ukraine produces 70% of its own weapons. I don't believe that for a minute, me. I don't believe that for a minute. If they were producing their own weapons, I think the Russians would destroy where they're being made. I think the Russians would find out where they've been made and they would destroy the facilities. I don't believe that. I think there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than we're ever going to be told. We'll never know. Maybe in 200 years when they release the files like they do, don't they? They say hundreds of years, they lock it all away, hide it all from the people, and then a couple of 100 years when all those people are long dead and nobody can be held accountable at all, then they release it. And say, oh yeah, look, what really was going on was this, and what really was going on was that, and this was this, and this was that. Fucking shocking. Kiev is on track to build 10 million drones by the end of this year, and they can do it cheaper than the West by using mass-produced Chinese parts. So you're telling me the Chinese are supplying the Ukraine with parts? Is that what you're trying to tell me? The ally to Russia. So they're trying to tell us that is that for real or what? Is that for real? I don't know so much. I really don't know so much. NATO allies' equivalent drones can be twice as expensive as they try to shun Chinese components. However, there are still weapons that Ukraine needs and struggles to produce on its own, from fast fighter jets to the most urgent jets to the most urgent example, interceptors to take down Russian ballistic missiles. The most effective weapon to do that by far is the US-made Patriot interceptor. Yeah, but the Americans need them, don't they? And I don't think the Americanos have got many because they've been at it with Iran. Ukraine has all but run out of them, and Russian ballistic missiles now make it through the Ukrainian air defences with ease. America's war in Iran has meant they're in even shorter supply. That's what I just said. They're also expensive, at around £3 million a missile. And production rates have been slow. The US is planning to double production rates from around 600 Patriot missiles per annum to 2,000, but that will take several years. It's all in a terrible state. Everything at the moment, in my opinion, is in an absolutely terrible state. There's so many bad decisions made by these so-called leaders, these so-called politicians. It just defies logic. You know, to me, there has to be the hidden hand that is controlling this for whatever reason. For whatever reason. And at some point, I think the dam is going to break and we're going to see the consequences of it. Well, we might not even see the consequences of it, depending on how devastating it is. Because don't forget, apparently, there are these things called nuclear missiles. And it looks like, from what I've seen, in Americano land, Trump, in his wisdom, has been muttering about maybe using, what do they call them? Tactical nukes on Iran. That is going to be disastrous for everyone. But I don't think sanity's got anything to do with anything anymore. I really don't. The world as I see it now is absolutely insane. in just about everything. There's not many things I look at now and think that makes sense. Most things I see now, I look at and think, what is that about? What the? It's just like everything.
What?
Yeah, just like that, mate. Unreal. President Donald Trump signalled last month that he would be willing to share Patriot technology with Ukraine, but has since rowed back. So he was going to share the technology. Even if he had given approval, it would have taken a while for Ukraine to make Patriots themselves. Some estimate at least a year. Ukraine would also be relying on the same sophisticated components that are in high demand across the globe. Ukraine has embarked on a program to develop its own interceptor missiles with European support, known as Project Freya. All of this, even how they know how to use these types of weapons, and the GPS systems and all the advanced backroom stuff that they need, that's all being supplied from beyond Ukraine. None of this, Ukraine, this would have been over a long time ago if, one, people would have brought them to the table for peace, and two, it was allowed to play itself out properly. Ukraine would have surrendered. Russia would have got, in their eyes, they would have got their, they would have took the weapons away from them because that's what they wanted to do. Russia's never gone on about going further into Europe or world domination or anything like that. But this is not what happened, is it? It's just crazy. That's why it's running on year and year and year. It's like Iran. It's another one. When the Israel, see, they go on about Russia. This is what annoys me as well. They go on about Russia illegally attacking the Ukraine. What about the illegal attack by America and Israel on Iran? That was purely illegal. And they bombed that school, didn't they? Double tapped that school with about 134 little schoolgirls in it. Who's been accountable for that? Nobody. Unreal, mate. Unreal. The hypocrisy is just staggering. It's staggering. And I wonder at what point people like me who are voicing these sort of things will just be taken out of the equation somehow. You know, because of the hate speech or the fucking whatever, because you're saying wrong words that they don't like, because they don't want you to notice it. And they definitely don't want you sharing what you're noticing. Even though we're all noticing it, just not everybody talks about it. But there are huge technological challenges in building a high-speed missile to take down another missile travelling at thousands of miles per hour. It is expensive and often time-consuming. Ukraine's military and its weapons manufacturers have shown themselves to be fast learners. One of its own companies, First Point, is developing its own ballistic missiles, which it hopes will be ready to fire in anger next year. So if all this is true, the Russians are seeing this as well. So the Russians have got to make a decision. They either surrender, right, and retreat, or they carry on as they are and wait for everybody to amass all these new weapons and catch up with them, and then really start smashing Russia up, or they smash the Ukraine to bits. And they really do go in with a full-scale war. Because that's what the West is saying all the time, the media. The illegal Russian full-scale invasion. I don't think it has been a full-scale invasion, personally. I don't think so. You know, I really don't. But at some point, I think that's what we might actually get to see. But Russia has already ramped up its own ballistic missile production to around 100 a month. Developing sophisticated weapons is expensive and cannot be done quickly. Ukraine is short on both time and money. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. And what happens when they do lose? Does then NATO and the what are they called? The whatever of the willing. Do they just then start attacking Russia anyway? Do they declare war on Russia themselves? Do we declare war on Russia, do we? With the French and the Germans and Europe, do we all declare war on Russia, do we? Is that what's going to happen? So the move to hand missile blueprints to Ukraine will be welcome, but it is not an immediate fix for Ukraine's most pressing problems. And it will, they put will, W-W-I-L-L. This is the BBC website, by the way. Brilliant. And it will not dramatically alter Kiev's ability to strike Russia in new ways. In my opinion, Bez is here, everybody. Is it Bez Bezic? Bez Bezic, yeah, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. I do think there is going to be a lot of trouble going forward. I don't see any, and I don't see why though. I don't know how Burnham can give out these blueprints. I think it's wrong. I don't think we should be giving our secret technologies away to other countries. Why should we? At the end of the day, oh, it's protecting our security. How is it? How is it? If Russia, right, let's think about it. If Russia wanted to just destroy Ukraine, it could just destroy the place. Let's get it right. They've got all the capacity to just absolutely devastate the place. You know, like when the Americanos go to somewhere, or the Israelis. You know, like when the Israelis go somewhere, they just flatten it. They don't care who's under it, do they? They just flatten the lot and then bulldoze it all out of the way. And that's exactly what the Russians would have done. But they're not doing that because they care about the Ukrainian people, in my opinion. And there's not been any elections in Ukraine for years, have there? So we don't even know what the real sentiment of the people of the Ukraine is, because they've not been allowed to go to the polls to vote. Because for all we know, they could be screaming, look, we want Zelensky out of here. We're sick of this. We want a peace deal. We want to calm this. We want this idiot out. But we don't know because they're not allowing it. Brilliant. But you don't hear like the BBC complaining about that, do you? This is the next bit anyway. Sorry. Britain is this is from the Russian side. Britain is participating in and intensifying Ukraine conflict, the Kremlin. So this is what this is in Russian, the Russian media. The UK has announced plans to give Ukraine classified data to allow it to produce long-range missiles domestically. Britain is directly participating in the Ukraine conflict and actively working to prolong it, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has said. Responding to London's announcement plans to provide Kiev with classified technical information needed to assemble long-range cruise missiles domestically. According to Downing Street press release published on Sunday, the UK government has authorised European defence manufacturer MBDA to release classified information concerning UK-made components for SCALP, the French-produced version of Britain's Storm Shadow. The air-launched missile use shared French and British technology and have a range that exceeds 250 kilometres. The release of the information is set to be announced by UK Prime Minister Andy Burnham during a visit to Kiev on Monday, which it has been announced. His first international trip since taking office last month. Responding to the announcement, Peskov said Britain is participating. Now listen to this this is the Russian perspective, right? So this is what the Russians are saying. Responding to the announcement, Peskov said Britain is participating in this war on the side of the Kiev regime and is methodically and regularly adding fuel to the fire and scheming to prevent any development of the peace settlement process. Our armed forces are carrying out the relevant work and obtaining the necessary data in order to identify the production sites for such missiles and other military equipment and are taking measures to destroy these locations, Peskov added. London said the decision to release the information will allow the French and Ukrainians to move forward with the Ukrainian assembly of the missile. The Ukrainian people should be in no doubt. The UK is behind you today and for as long as it takes, Burnham said ahead of his visit to the Ukrainian capital, where he is also expected to meet with Vladimir Zelensky and chair his first meeting of the coalition of the willing, established by Britain and France under predecessor Keir Starmer. Moscow has maintained that the UK and other suppliers of weapons to Kiev are directly responsible for the deep strike campaign, which it says has frequently hit civilians. According to the Sunday Times, drones manufactured by BAE Systems and another unnamed British company have been used to hit targets in Russia over the past 6 months, including 2 oil refineries. The UAVs reportedly include the Nyan, a jet-propelled drone produced by BAE Systems subsidiary. In a statement last week, the Russian embassy in London called the UK an accomplice and co-perpetrator of the bloody crimes and terrorist attacks committed by Ukraine. It warned that the deeper its involvement in the conflict and the greater its support for Kiev's terrorist machinery, the higher the price it will pay. What that price is, I suppose we're yet to find out. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov has warned that London will face consequences if it continues supplying drones used by Ukraine for strikes deep inside Russia. And he said, "We have every right to regard the probable proclaimed direct involvement of British missile forces in strikes against Russia as participation in the war, with all the consequences that entails," Lavrov said. That's very serious. I don't know if the normal people are aware of this, but this is very, 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 very serious. If you've got this far watching this stream, if you could give us a thumbs up and check that you're still subscribed, and subscribed if you can't subscribe, if you like this sort of lunatic sort of stuff, because it is lunacy. I mean, without a doubt, it's lunacy, all of this, if you ask me. There's nothing sensible about any of this. It's absolutely mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. I'll just check if there's any latest developments anywhere, which there probably isn't. And I can't see that one because, for the reasons I don't want you to see. Oh, I can actually. Yeah, that's more for tomorrow. The tariffs in Canada and all that. It's pretty much the same there. Let's check the spews, shall we? The BBC. Let's just check that quick briefly while we're here. See if there's anything developed in the last, because you just don't know, do you? You just don't know what's going on. There's nothing really. No, there's nothing else. Nothing. It's just the normal stuff, and it's climate change. Then we're in the UK. I suppose most of you have seen it now. There was a group of lads who were joyriding in a car, went down the road, the wrong side of the road, and drove into a police car with 2 armed coppers in it. Everybody's dead. Everybody's dead, all dead. They're all dead. Idiots. Absolute mindless. It's, crazy. And is it a loss? I know it sounds bad, but what would those lads would have grown up to be like if that's what they're like now? And they apparently all but one of them had previous. So what was it called? Was it Darwin who had a saying, didn't he? What was that saying? Oh, what was that saying? Like how it filters out nature filters it out. It don't so much these days, though, does it? It don't seem to really these days. Somebody will tell me in the chat what it was. What's that saying? There's a saying, isn't there? Like how nature has a way of clearing the idiots and the weak and all that. I can't remember. Nobody's telling me. What use are you? Come on in the chat. Anyway, that's about me really. That's about it. I'm going to be a few minutes early, but I just wanted to. It's not the Gunn says it's the Darwin effect. No, there's a saying. There's an actual saying, isn't there? Oh, I can't remember it. Should we get the AI in? Natural selection. There it is. Yes, Beth Gish. Natural selection. That's it. Yeah, it's like nature has a way, doesn't it? But these days it doesn't. These days it doesn't have natural selection because we intervene too much in everything, don't we? Do you know what I mean? We really do. We intervene in things too much now. Whereas natural selection would have dealt with a lot of... There's a guy I used to watch, still on YouTube, a really posh guy. He's quite funny. I can't remember his name. And he used to call it... what did he... Oh, God. What did he used to call it? He used to call them like... Not monsters, but he used to say they were like... abnormalities. They're abnormalities. Whereas normally, in nature, natural selection would have dealt with them. But because of how we keep people going and all that, they're amongst us. And there's lots of them. And it's obvious that that's true, isn't it? Because they really are, aren't they? I mean, one of the most worrying things I see at the moment is when we see... I mean, I've been watching Edge of the Matrix. I don't know if you're aware of Edge of the Matrix. You should definitely watch Edge of the Matrix, right? Steve, his name is brilliant. Brilliant YouTube videos. And he does... he goes out with boards on, if you've not seen him, saying... trans women are men. I think that's what it says on the front of his board. Trans women are men. And on the back, it says something like, there is no such thing as a transgender child. And he stands in the streets, in cities. He's been all over. He's been around many places. He's been to America and everything. But he does loads of places in the UK. He goes all over the place. So if you haven't seen Edge of the Matrix, have a look. He gets attacked and everything. He's a great guy. And one of the most saddest things I see when I watch his videos is when you get young people, which look totally normal people, and they've been through the education system, and they're saying, and when he says to them, what, so you're saying, if a man says he's a woman, and they go, yeah. Yeah. Even some, adults even say it. Yeah, if a man says he's a woman, he's a woman. So basically, I can say I'm a woman, and then I'm a woman in their eyes. How fucking crazy is that? Everything is wrong. Everywhere I look, things are wrong. It's insane at this point. It really is. Anyway, no doubt there'll be some more insanity tomorrow. I don't know who gave Burnham the right to to do all this stuff? Where's his mandate for all this? They just continue on and on and on, and it's not right. And I can't wait for something to change. I'm hoping that Restore at some point will be the change that is really needed. And I hope it really is a change. But I think if it is a threat to the system that bad, something will happen to them. But we shall see going forward. Who knows? We've got years of this yet, if we manage to get that far. Years of it. Fucking lunacy. Anyway, till Monday, thank you for being here. Please like and subscribe, all that lovely stuff. Thank you for being here. It's been great to see you. If you've got anything to say in the comments, I'd love to see your comments on when the video's like processed and it's up on a video. I'd love to see some of your comments. I'd love to know how other people think about all this, because from my point of view, it's horrendous what's going on. But anyway, until tomorrow, good people, don't get lost or killed. I'll see you then.
We keep on moving. We keep on moving along. We keep on rolling. No, we ain't slowing it down.
We ain't slowing
keep
down.
on moving. We keep on moving along. We keep on rolling.
Yeah,
No, we ain't slowing it down.
let's go. We ain't slowing down, baby. Come and show me how. Gotta do it right now. You know you gotta hold me down. Can I let the moment pass? Good things they never last. Pull up in a whip, you know I had to hit the gas. Yeah, that's premium. Pull up with a team and I'm ain't worried about the other side. They know that they ain't beating. I'm on everything I love. Work to the man above. Keep it cool, calm, collected. At this point, you get the message. Life is hectic, but we gotta keep it rolling, no. Gotta keep it moving like we stole it, though. Rolling with the punches, giving hits like we are in a scope. Even though I'm clocking, punching in, I'm independent, though. Staying prayed up, ain't nothing gon' phase us. Ain't never gon' let a lame say what they just made up. I never take a pay cut, we getting what we worked in. I never change the blueprint, cause we know it's really working.
Keep on moving.
Moving,
We keep on moving along.
keep it moving, keep
on
it
rolling.
rolling.
No, we ain't slowing it down.
Never slowing down,
Keep
never
on moving.
flying. Don't play into their amusement. If we trying, we ain't dying. Never sleep, never sleep, never. The moment that you rest your head, they think they can compete. If you gotta skip steps, then the plan is not complete. Get your reps in, get your reps in, get your. Never rest on a past success. You gotta love what you do if you trying to be the best. Moving.
We keep on moving along.
Keep it moving, keep it rolling. Never slowing down, never moving.
We keep on moving
Keep it moving, keep it moving, keep it rolling. Keep it rolling, keep it moving. We ain't ever gonna lose it.
Who's been to Epstein Island, mate?